Hey guys, back at it again, doing another weekend project. Today I'm going to show you something simple, easy, and fixable. We're going to work on a Toyota Sienna. We're going to replace the front brake pads and also the front rotors. So let's go and get started, guys. Enjoy the video. Okay guys, first things first, make sure you jack up the car and also put it on jack stands. Safety first, guys. Whenever you're working underneath the vehicle, make sure you use proper safety procedures so that way you can avoid hurting yourself. As you can see, my jack stands are in place, and always remember to chock your back tires so that way your car or van would roll down in case your jack stand failed. So let's go and remove the tire, guys, and we'll go from there. Alright guys, let's go and remove the tires. Welcome to Keep lift you up with life-changing provide hope and stubborn little sucker there, but nothing this Ingersoll cannot do. Nut buster, that's what I called it. Okay guys, as you can see, the customer basically drove the heck out of this before even the brake pads are gone. So that's the reason why we're going to replace the front rotors and the brakes. So never allow never allow your brake system to go this bad, because you're risking your life. Alright, so let's go and start. The first thing we're going to do, we're gonna go ahead and compress the piston. I'll show you how to do that. Let me just turn the wheel towards me. Okay guys, I turned the wheel towards me so that way I can give you guys a better angle on this project. Now the first thing we're going to do, we're going to compress the piston, but before we do that, we're going to go up here underneath the hood, and we're going to go ahead and open the brake fluid reservoir, because whenever you compress a piston, you're gonna have some brake fluid that's gonna basically come out. So you want to be prepared. Make sure you have a kind of like a cloth in there. I mean, not inside the actual brake master cylinder, but kind of around it, so that way if something does fluid come out, we can go ahead and be prepared and not get it everywhere. Okay, so going back to what I was saying, there's many ways of compressing the piston, but for this type of vehicles, all I do, I just use a flathead screwdriver like this, and I put it inside this little slot, and I just push it in, put a little bit of pressure. Get you a better angle there. And it's going to allow me just to loosen up the caliper once I take it off. Alright, as you can see, has movement, so I've compressed enough just so that will allow me to take out the actual brake caliper there. But this is all I'm doing. And see, it's compressed enough where I have movement. So let's go and continue to the next step. Okay guys, so the next step, we're going to go and remove these two top bolts. These are 14mm bolts, one at the top and another one at the bottom here. This is the brake caliper that we're going to remove, so let's go and do that real quick. And they're basically the same length, so you don't have to worry about which is top or bottom. The next step, I'm actually going to use a brake caliper hanger I'm gonna remove the caliper and put it out of harm's way, so that way the brake line doesn't get bent, or in other words, it doesn't have a pressure to break off. So the next step, as you can see, you could just use a flathead screwdriver to remove the brakes, like so. Bear with me. See how this one's pretty much down to the metal, so I'm just happy the customer didn't have an accident with this. This is not that bad, but never allowed to go this bad. Alright, so the next step, we're gonna go ahead and, in order for us to get the rotor, we're gonna go ahead and remove there's gonna be two bolts. Let's go ahead and get those out. Okay guys, so in order for us to remove the rotor again, I have to take the caliper bracket off. It's basically held in by two 17mm bolts, one here and one here at the bottom. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. That's one. That's two. And again, they'll come out simply like that. And again, you don't have to worry about the size because it's basically the same size. But normally what I like to do, I just like to put kind of like the bolts back where I took them off, like so. And I'm just going to move here the brake caliper back, and your rotor should just come off like so. Alright, so now that we remove that, I'm going to take the time. Before I actually install the new brake pads, I'm going to take the time to clean all this out, and also I'm going to take the time to compress this piston. So all I'm doing, I'm putting the old brake pad that I had, and I'm using this tool. You can buy it at your local auto parts store. I paid like $9 for it a couple years ago, but it's a pretty simple tool to have, and all I'm doing, I'm just compressing the piston back in place. And again, there's different methods people use, so whatever kind of works for you, use that method, but this is basically all I'm doing. And then I'm going to wipe this down with some brake cleaner as well. And again, just keep in mind, also keep checking the reservoir there. Nothing's leaking, so that's an indication that the pistons basically they're compressed all the way out. So hopefully the customer didn't allow it to. Alright, so basically that's all it's turning. So you just kind of want to tap it out as much as possible, and then your piston's inside, so we're good to go. And again, I'm gonna get some brake cleaner, clean that off real quick, so let me do that. Okay guys, so I have a catch pan that I'm up underneath the vehicle, and here's the part where I'm gonna go ahead and clean this part out real quick. And also, if you get a chance, See these little ends here. Our new brake pads, hopefully they come with hardware. All I'm gonna do, I'm just gonna go ahead and use a wire brush and just kind of clean these out a little bit, so that way any rust or any type of gunk won't affect my the braking system on this van. So we'll clean this caliper before we install it, and then we're also going to go ahead and check on these sliding pins, because these just slide easy back and forth. If they don't, we're going to go ahead and grease them. So let me check this out real quick. Alright, yeah, we're going to clean this out. As you can see, it's old gunky grease that we're going to go ahead and make sure we put some new grease on the sliding pins, so that way they can slide nicely in and out. See how this one's having difficulty? And I can't imagine the bottom one. Yep, it's not moving. So we're going to go ahead and make sure that we grease this, okay? Don't forget to do that part as well. Okay guys, so the next step, we're going to install new rotors. So what you want to do with some brake parts cleaner, you want to go ahead and make sure you clean it really good, both sides. It's just because they have like this grease filament on it, so you want to make sure you clean it really good. Before you install it. Alright guys, so let's go and install this bad boy real quick. And then temporarily, what I normally do, I just put a lug nut just temporarily, so that way when I install the caliper bracket, this won't move. So let me go ahead and install the caliper bracket. Alright guys, so next we're going to go and install the brake caliper bracket. And remember to grease the slide bolts. I already greased them, so we're good to go on that. And this brake caliper bracket is going to be torqued at 79 foot-pounds according to Toyota specs. So let's go ahead and get those tying up here. Alright guys, so we're going to do this. We're going to torque this to 75 foot-pounds. So let's go and do that real quick. And again, these are 17mm bolts that we're going to go ahead and torque. There we go. There we go. Got that. And that. So we're good on that. Next step, we're going to go ahead and install the brake pads. Let's go and do that real quick. Okay guys, so these brake pads, they're just going to slide in. And as you can see, these type of brake pads, they come with the shim already. And this is kind of like a rubberish shim, so we don't have to put any disc quiet. Normally if you get the less expensive brake pads, they will have like a metal shim. You can put a little bit of disc quiet lubrication on, but this one, because it's kind of like a vinyl rubbery, we're good to go. So these are just going to slide in like so. Okay guys, so the other brake pad's going to slide in as well, like the other one. And I don't know if you know this, but there's two little pins, holes here and there, here at the bottom. We have to put some special clips on them that come with the actual brake pad kit. Let me get those. And basically they go in just in place like this. Alright, so now that we have the brake pads installed, we're gonna go ahead and install the caliper. So let me go ahead and remove, make sure I'm gonna remove it from the actual oh, don't forget to make sure that your pistons compress, okay? And we're just gonna go ahead and slide this in here like so. And these top bolts, they're gonna be torqued at 25 foot-pounds. Okay, so 25 foot-pounds top and bottom. Alright guys, so I'm going to torque the top caliper bolts to 25 foot-pounds. As you can see right there, 25 foot-pounds. So let me go and do that real quick. And again, these are 14 millimeter bolts. There you go, 25 foot-pounds there. $25 foot-pounds there. Alright, let's go to the next step. Alright guys, so next step and last step, basically we're going to go ahead and install the actual tire. But again, don't forget to do one last brake clean on the disc. Make sure you clean off the filament that it has on both sides. I cleaned this one already, but I just want to do one last clean since I did grab it with my hands trying to put the brake. So basically there you guys have it. I'm going to go ahead and put the tire back on. I hope this video helps you guys how to change your front brake pads and rotors on a Toyota Sienna. Alright guys, God bless, and subscribe and comment. Thank you. Bye bye.